Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light.
Powered by Emery Allen. Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
All light. Welcome to the number one. We're the number one landscape lighting show in Boise, Idaho. It's crazy how worldwide we're getting here. This is crazy. Guys, we got an epic show lined up for you. If you're looking to start or grow a landscape lighting business, and maybe any business after today's show, it's going to be a good one. We're definitely here to educate and motivate to help you dominate. So got a great show lined up, guys. I don't know how, but we got Mr. Russell Brunson. Coming on the show. And he's the co-founder of ClickFunnels and like tons of other stuff. I don't even know how to introduce him. So I'm probably going to be like, just introduce yourself. But a lot of people are like, well, how the heck did you get Russell Brunson on your show? It's just a landscape lighting podcast. And you know what? Most people know a little bit of the story about how I started Landscape Lighting Secrets, but today I'm going to fill you in on a little bit more detail. Today you get the undisclosed secret. I've never really shared the whole story, but actually I was watching TV one day. This was about, I think it was 7-8 years ago. I don't remember the year specifically, but I was watching the show The Prophet. You guys remember The Prophet? Marcus Lemonis. That show was awesome. And I watched that show religiously. And one day I'm watching it and I'm like, is that Russell Brunson? Like what's Russell Brunson doing on The Prophet? And you see, I went to elementary school, middle school, high school with Russell Brunson. And I'm like, how's he on The Prophet? Like, that's cool. I know someone famous. Well, little did I know, I didn't know who Russell Brunson, the new Russell Brunson was. I just knew the wrestler Russell Brunson. And it was crazy, guys. One Google search later, about 8 minutes later, I'm pulling out my credit card. I'm buying 108 split tests. I'm launched into this community I had no idea existed. I'm learning what a ClickFunnel is. I'm learning what a funnel is. It was insane. But ever since then, I've been a devout fan, and I've totally consumed all his trainings with marketing and sales and all this stuff. And what most people don't know is Landscape Lighting Secrets would have never even been launched if it hadn't been for me watching the show that day. I went to one of his events, Funnel Hacking Live, and I was completely immersed. I was baptized by fire. It was epic, but we're not going to go into a whole lot of that today because I want Russell to kind of just share his wisdom with us today. But that's how I know Russell. So really, really cool. Before we have him on, I do got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to Emery Allen. Hey, what's the best way to stand out of the crowd? Well, being different. And in fact, set yourself apart from others in the lighting industry and impress your customers by installing Emery Allen lamps on your next project. You'll discover a higher level of quality across the board, from the bulbs themselves to the top tier customer support you can expect to get if you have any issues or questions. Right now is the best time to make the switch. Don't be left behind. Don't be left in the dark. All you need to do is email Tom G at emeryallen.com, and he will hook you up with that discounted contractor pricing. And don't forget to mention that you heard about him here on Lighting for Profits and get that discounted contractor price. Just email Tom G at emeryallen.com. Thank you, Tom G. Thank you, Emery Allen. You guys have been awesome and allow us to keep doing this podcast every single week. All right. Well, now the moment we've all been waiting for. I know why you guys are here. You're not for me. You're not here for me. You're here to hear from the GOAT of marketing. Let's get the intro music going, should we? I think we should. Welcome to the show, Mr. Russell Brunson.
Hey, man.
Trying to do a cool intro for you. That
was pretty cool.
You got pretty cool intros at your events and stuff, so I got to try to keep up, you know.
Dude, it's so good to see you, and I'm excited to be here. I had no idea that was the story. I didn't realize that's how you came into this from The Prophet. That's insane.
I know.
Cool thing.
I'm sitting there watching like, what? I know someone on TV? That's weird. And literally, I'm on Google, and then it was within minutes. I'm like pulling out my credit card. I'm getting upsold, downsold. Yes, please give me. And I'm like,
these funnels work.
I want to do this.
It's so crazy. Well, first off, it's good for you because like I can't tell you, it's so weird to me in the normal world where I exist, how many friends, family members, people that I know who know what I do. and they never ask me questions. They never pursue it. I'm like, if I knew somebody who's doing this crazy stuff, I would be like, what is happening? I would try. And so you're one of the rare few people in like the normal world that I'm from that like actually like not only just like saw, but then actually did something with it. So I'm very proud of you for that. And it's exciting to
Thanks,
watch.
Man. Well, and I learned this. I don't know if I learned it from you, but you call it funnel hacking, right?
Yeah.
And I pretty much like you can sell me anything because I'm always trying to buy. I'm like, how did they do this? How did they get in my head? And I'll buy tons of offers, even has nothing to do with like coaching or landscape lighting, because I want to see what they did. And like I've gained so much information just by buying people's stuff. It's insane.
Yeah. Watching behind the scenes and the psychology when you understand it. Because the first time you go through something like a funnel or something, it's just like, you know what's happening. You're kind of in the heat of it. But later when you start realizing the psychology behind it, how it works, that it's like, it becomes fun to buy stuff. It's like, what are they doing? How do they do it? Like, why did this actually work? And how can I replicate that for whatever it is I'm doing? So it's tons of fun.
Totally like that. Yeah. Well, do me a favor real quick. I know most people know who you are at this point, but I'm sure at some point you meet people. They're like, wait, who's what's a ClickFunnel? What's a funnel? Who is Russell Brunson?
Oh man. Well, kid from Sandy, Utah that went to elementary school with you. I have vivid memories of, I can't remember, it was kindergarten or first grade. We were in the same class. And if you remember, we lined up for like lunch every day, and they did it by alphabetical order by first name. And so me and you stood next to each other every day for an entire year, going to lunch or recess or something. Anyway, so that's like my earliest memory of you. But so Russell and Ryan are next to each other in the alphabet. But no, I grew up pretty normal. In college, high school I wrestled, as you know, and then after I got college, I went and wrestled at BYU for a year, and they cut their team. And I went to Boise State to wrestle, and up there met my wife, and then realized that I was gonna have to quit wrestling if I was gonna get married, but I didn't want to quit wrestling. I was like, I have to figure out a way to make money, and so I did what most people do. You go to Google, type in how to make money on the internet, and took me down some crazy rabbit holes. Fell for a lot of scams along the way, but then started running to people who are actually doing this game and making money and having success. And I was like, this is the most exciting thing in the world. I'm like, and I remember like meeting these people, and they were amazing people, but I was like, I don't feel like they're that much smarter than me. I think I can figure this out. And after a lot of trial and error, it really came down just a couple things. It was like, you need to have a product. And so I figured out how to make a product. Then it's like, then you have to have something like a sales letter. Back then it was a sales letter, eventually became sales videos or something to sell it. And then you got to learn how to get people or traffic to come to the sales letter. They read or watch the sales letter, and then they buy the thing. And when I put those three things together, I was like, that's it. It's not that hard. I just got to figure those things out. And so then there was a lot of trial and error. One of my first products I ever sold was a DVD teaching people how to make potato guns, because that was the first idea I had. And
was this in college? Or was
I was in college. Okay. Yeah. My wrestling buddy, Nate, it was funny because it was spring break, and we were the only two married guys on the wrestling team. And so spring break for like wrestling season ends, and spring break's like the next week. So they all go to Vegas or whatever. They're gambling, having fun, and we're stuck at home because our wives are working. And Nate's like, what do you want to do this weekend? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, let's make a potato gun. I'm like, what's a potato gun? So he tells me, I'm like, I'm in. So we spent the whole week building potato guns. And then that weekend we were shooting them with our wives. I was like, so much fun. And then I remember the next Monday at school, and this time I was like learning about business online, and everyone's like, you gotta have an idea. You have to have something to sell. I'm like, I don't have anything to sell. I'm like, I have a 21-year-old wrestler. Like, what do I got? And then I remember sitting in class that Monday after spring break, and I was like, I wonder if anybody else besides me was searching for how to make a potato gun. Because like now I know how to do it. I can make a product teaching that. And so I went to there used to be a website back in the day called Overture, and you could type in a keyword, and it would show you how many people were searching for it. So I typed in potato gun, and there were like, I think it was like 18,000 people a month searching for like how to make a potato gun, and no one was selling anything. I was like, holy cow, this is the big idea. I'm going to be rich. And so I called Nate back. I'm like, let's go make another potato gun, but we're going to film ourselves doing it. And he was like, why would we do that? I'm like, just trust me. It's going to be awesome. So we filmed ourselves making a potato gun, put up a little website to sell it. I went to Google. I turned on some Google ads. And I remember within like a day, I had made my first sale, and then my second sale, and my third sale. I was like, this is insane. Some stranger on the internet just pulled out a credit card and asked me to ship them a potato gun DVD that like I'm literally burning on this little like DVD burner and like shipping it out to him. And I was like, this is the craziest thing in the world. And that's what like got me initially. And then I was addicted. And then from there, just, spent the next 20 years trying to learn how to do that better. And so that's kind of the journey, how I got into this whole world.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I remember hearing the potato gun story, and I was like, did you guys like make him in scouts or something? Because I was at Ryan Coyle's house in high school and we shot a potato gun. That's when
Oh,
I learned.
seriously?
Yes, he had one. Like we shot a potato gun at a garbage truck.
That's crazy. I didn't even know about it until my buddy said that thing. And I was like, yeah. Now it's like, yeah, now we have tons of them. My kids like going, we have fun with them, but I didn't know what it was back then. That's crazy. You guys are doing it the street over from me.
Well, yeah, if I would have known about the DVD, it would have been helpful. I could have built my own, you know. Well, let's talk about funnels. And I don't know if like what the state of the world is these days. Like, does everyone know what a funnel is? I just remember when I looked you up online, I was like a ClickFunnel. Like, and it took me, I'm not kidding, like weeks to figure out like what a funnel was. Even though you said it like what it was, I was just still like funnel. I think of like a funnel cake. I think of all these different things. I couldn't figure it out. It took me a while. So is
Yeah.
that still a thing, or does everyone know that like, no, you're supposed to use funnels and not just a website?
I think in my little community, there like, most people know what it is, but outside of that, like most people I talk to are still like, I don't understand what it is, and it's tough because it's a hard thing to explain because there's so many types of funnels. But I try to explain it like, again, especially for your audience who may not know what funnels are. Like, this is when I was in high school. This is where I kind of started. I started like understanding a little bit. I can remember I loved going to GNC because I was a wrestler. I like taking supplements. But I remember I'd walk into GNC, and as soon as you walk in the door, the front desk person would be like, "Hey, welcome to GNC. Can I help you?" And as an introvert, I'm like, "No," and I'd like leave because I was like, I hate this confrontation. I just want to go look at the supplements. Stop talking to me, you know. And I would like literally hide outside GNC till the front desk girl was talking to someone else, and I'd sneak in and I'd spend an hour just reading every label because like I'm a nerd like that. And I remember thinking about that, like that feeling that I had, like it made me want to leave, right? And so you think about GNC, like they have a funnel, right? They're putting an ad out there. So this is the top of the funnel. They put an ad on somewhere, right? And then people see the ad, say, hey, come get 20% off whatever when you get your gold card. So then people leave, they see the ad, and they come to the store. So that's like the next part of the funnel. So funnel's like at the top, maybe let's say 100,000 people in your city see the ad. And then from that, maybe 10,000 actually, will show up to the store. And then from the 10,000, maybe there's 500 that'll actually come through the front door and look at products. And from that, you get 100 that actually will buy something. And then you get 20 that buy more than one thing. And then you get 5 that buy like everything in the whole store. And so that's kind of what a funnel is. And I remember going in GNC and like feeling like, as I'm walking the door, like this awkwardness, I wanted to leave. And it's like that's a funnel, but it's like, it's broken because it's keeping people from wanting to come in. Right. And so like, you think about this, every business has a funnel like that, but most funnels are really bad. Like, again, like the GNC one was just like, there's this thing that's like kicking people out because there's friction and it's kind of weird. With a funnel, it's like you're trying to figure out like how do you optimize every single step in the process, from like the ad to the first thing they do, the second thing they do, to try to get more and more people through every single step in whatever the sales process is you have. And so like, I remember when I started getting the sales, these funnels and stuff, I remember just feeling that of like I'm feeling this weird resistance. And so like I would go to websites when I first got started, and you go to a website and there's still nowadays, but back then it was like, everything was like, there's a website and on top, there's like 20 links and you click on those links, and there's drop down menus and there's more links. And like, I remember coming to go buy something and getting so overwhelmed and lost and just like, I don't know what to do. And I would leave. And I'm just like, there's something like, this doesn't work. And there's a philosophy in marketing. It says a confused mind always says no. And that's what happens to most people, is they come into a website and they get confused because there's so many options. And so what a funnel is like you're stripping away everything to where it's like, when somebody comes to you, they can only do one thing, right? So if you see there's an ad on Facebook or Instagram or Google or whatever, and you click on it, it goes to a page, and that page, there's only one thing they can do. Okay, the confused mind says no, so I got to give them just one thing. So it's like, what's the most important thing I would do in this step of the process? So I'm just coming to GNC and walking through the front door. What if she changed her question from "Welcome to GNC, how can I help you?" that rejects me. Instead, it's like, "Hey, welcome to GNC. If you have any questions, let me know." And then like, oh, like sweet, I'm gonna walk through the door, and I don't feel this awkwardness. And then now I'm gonna go in. So more people will get through that step, right? And same thing's true online with the funnel. Is someone clicks on the ad on Google, they come to a page, and it's like, hey, we've got a special offer for you. We have a lighting company here in Boise, Idaho, and if you want to see a special light demo of the before and afters of of 5 yards we've done in the past, the before and the after pictures, give us your email address for sure. The sick video that's going to walk you through everything. Like you can see before and afters what's possible. So it's a very simple funnel, right? They come on there, they click in, like, oh, I want to see the before and afters. They put the email address in. Now they come through the thing, and all of a sudden you got a video like, oh, thank you so much for coming through here. Check out these before and afters. And you start showing the before and afters, and they have this experience where like, oh, that's amazing. I would love here's the before and after. Like, I would love if that was my yard. And all of a sudden a little button pops down in the video. It's like, hey, if you'd like to jump on a call where we can explain how we can do this to your yard and actually have someone from my team come out and look at your yard, just click on the button and put your email address or put your phone number down below, and someone on our team will give you a call and we'll come on over and show you what we could do with your yard. And like that's a funnel. It's very simple every step. So they see an ad, they see a really cool thing. It's like, I want that. I'll trade you for the email address. They come to the next page, they see the thing, they get an experience, and it's like, hey, now this is the next step. Give us a call or book a call or whatever that the next mechanism is, and they come out, and then now you're there with the customer.
Dude, I love it.
And my guess is the most, again, lighting people or any business, like they have a funnel right now, but it's probably bad. Like most of them are like, go to my website and there's 1,000 links, or give me a call, or just they're not thinking through the process. Like again, I was thinking about GNC, like how did I feel going through that process? Like what were the parts that felt clunky or weird, and how do I clean that up so it's just very simple and easy to go from A to Z?
I love the way you explained it. Please don't send me an invoice because you just built a funnel in real time. Like everyone still, I bet you 99 out of 100 landscape lighting companies just send people to their website, and I'm like, and they think, well, I want to educate them and all this. I'm like, dude, you can go look at traffic. No one's going and doing that on your website. They're going on it and bouncing. So I love it. It's just like, here's the thing we need you to do. We want you to get this free video that you had the idea of, whatever it is, and they can test different things, but they need to have something. It's like, do this thing so that we get your name, your phone number, and your email. So love it.
I was thinking about this too. Think about like if you were to hire a salesperson, right? You hire a salesperson, like, I need you to get me more clients for lighting, right? And that salesperson went and they printed out this big old brochure, and they go down to the mall, and people walking by and they're handing these brochures. Everyone like, here's a brochure, here's some more education. Check this out, right? Like, what would you like? That salesperson handed out 200 brochures that weekend. How many sales did he make? Probably none, right? You would fire that salesperson because they're not very good. Versus you put the same salesperson in the mall and there's like something really cool, a demonstration or something, comes over like, hey, give me your email address. I'm going to give you this cool, I'm going to give you whatever the thing might be. That salesperson might get 20 emails or 50 emails in the same time period. And now you can follow up with them. Now you can close them. Now you can call. Like so it's like the brochure model is like what the internet was built off of, but it's like the worst sales process ever, right? Like no sales guy makes money handing out brochures and praying that they call you back. Yet our websites is what most people are doing, right? So it's just like you shift it where like the funnel in theory is like the salesperson that's closing sales for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like I was on the profit, and then little did I know you saw something in that funnel was closing you, and I was goofing off with my family, right? Like it just works all the time.
And one thing I'll add to this, like, again, I have a little bit more persistence than most, I think. Like I know I'm going to fail. So I'm just like, get it over with. Like my first funnel didn't work. And I don't think my second or third or fourth, but I didn't give up on it because I had seen so much evidence that it worked for others that I was like, no, I'm going to make this work. And like, even now we're constantly like adding new funnels and changing, and like I don't have it perfected. I'm sure you could come in and just like you'd laugh at the stuff I put up with, right? But it works, it converts, you know what I mean?
What was the first one that you did that actually worked? I'm curious.
Well, I did one. So what I did was I got one of your coaches. Okay. I signed up for one of the many offers. Okay. And then I was like, hey, how do I make this work? Because I tried it on my own. I couldn't do it. So I got some help. And we came up with what's called a dream book. And that was the first funnel that helped. So I've created, this was before Google Drive, by the way. It was much more complicated then. You could do this in 5 minutes now. But we had like AWS hosting. I don't know if you remember doing all that stuff. I'm sure you do. So we did a 100-page dream book, and that was our thing. It was like, hey, download our free dream book to get inspired ideas of our top projects in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that was awesome. I mean, we got tons of leads off of that, and it was way better than being like, hey, we're awesome at lighting. Go to our website and call us if you feel like it.
Yeah. And what most people, I don't know if your audience knows this or not, but like for us, like the way that in my business, at least in most of the businesses I work with, the way we actually make our money is through email, right? Like, it's like, and so like you said, you're giving away this free book or something, someone gets on your email list, and now you have the ability to follow up with them, to send them emails. Especially in lighting, I'm assuming that like when as you know, Scott from After Our Hours lighting here in Boise, like 10 years ago, we bought our new house, and I was like, our lighting was all broken. And I don't remember how I came up across him, but he came, did a free consult, like mapped out this whole thing, showed us, it was beautiful. And then he gave me the bill afterwards, and it was insane. It was a lot of money. That's all I remember. I was like, oh, but I'm like, at that point I was like sold, like it was so cool, you know? So like a lot of times, especially in your, like in my business, when I'm selling a free book or something, like we can get a lot of impulse buys. I'm assuming with lighting, it's not like an impulse buy, right? So it's like you get someone on a list, you follow up, you send them emails. Like the more you're building that relationship and building trust and building rapport with them, then over time, then they're like, when they're ready to pull the trigger, now they're there. But most people, like, they're waiting for, like, hopefully the second someone decides that they're ready to do this right now, that they're going to see my ad and show up perfectly. But it's like, the reality is that doesn't normally happen. Like, people are interested, looking for examples, looking for ideas. And so the number one goal is like getting them on your email list so you can follow up with those people over time. And then when they're ready, then they show up. And that's one of the keys I think a lot of people will miss, you know?
That was huge for me. I remember thinking like, yeah, I'm going to do a Facebook ad and like, they're going to click yes. And then I'm going to make $10,000. Like that's an average landscape lighting job. But like, that's just not true. So you get them into that. And I learned that also from you, like, what are some ways someone could build an email list? Because every time you spend, you're doing an ad on Facebook, Google, or anything else. I mean, you're paying per click, paying per impression. With emails, like, you own your list. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Like you said, the very first time you're buying an ad, you're paying for it. So it's always that pain initially of like, oh, it just cost me, $1 a click or $5, whatever it ends up being, right? But then after you get on your email list, and I don't know how technical your audience is, but they understand, like in ClickFunnels or whatever autoresponder, it builds a list, right? And then you can send an email and it goes out to everybody all at once. Or you can say, hey, day number one, after someone gives them email address, send them this email. And then 2 days later, send this one. And 5 days later, send them. So you can build out a whole sequence that automatically just happens behind the scenes. And so for me, it's like, I'm always reverse engineering. Okay, the end goal is to get them to make a phone call or book something, or have them come to our warehouse or whatever the end goal is. And it's like, okay, to get them to do that, if I were to reverse engineer the process, what would it look like? It's like, okay, I'm going to send them examples. We're going to do that. And so I build kind of an email sequence, it could be 3 days, could be 10 days, could be 30 days, 45 days that's kind of touching to get them to show up. Now, if you have that in place, then it's like, okay, now what are all the different things I can do to get somebody to give me the email address? And so my mentor, Dan Kennedy, he called these lead magnets. It's like, you got to create a lead magnet. So get a lead to come to you, right? To magnetically come to you. And so when I learned about that, I was like, I just got to create really cool things that people want. But it doesn't mean you have to create something hard either. Like right now, I'm thinking about your industry. Like you talked about the book you made. Like you could do something very similar. You could go to Pinterest and make a Pinterest board and then just go find 500 of the coolest, sickest, most amazing, like lighting before and after projects or whatever, just randomly out there. And then the email list could be like, hey, give me your email address. I'm going to send you my favorite Pinterest board, the 500 coolest landscape lightings I've ever seen in my entire life. Like that's interesting. My wife would opt into that every day, because she would love to see that. And I didn't have to create anything. I just went to Pinterest and found a bunch of pictures, and that can be a lead magnet, right? The lead magnet can be like, you go to YouTube, maybe someone's already created a video that's like really cool showing lighting stuff. And then you go back and like, hey, I got this really cool video that I found that shows, the most amazing thing ever. Give me your email address. I'll send you a copy to it. Like it can really be that easy. Or you can create a book, or but the key is just like figuring out a lead magnet, something where someone's like, I want that thing bad enough that I will trade you for my email address. Like that's the trade-off, right? I'm going to give you my real email address, but I actually want you to send it to me. Because sometimes I've seen people make pages and it's like, give me your email and I'll give you this thing, and the thing's not that good. So you like fake emails. It's like, make it so good that they want to get the email from you because they want to get that thing,
That's awesome. Well, everyone's going to be super jealous knowing that Scott Ruhoff with After Dark Landscape Lighting did your lights.
He did it was so cool. Like again, he messaged me a couple of days ago and he found out I was going to be on the podcast, but yeah, he did an amazing job. We're on 5 acres and it's not a small project, but he did an amazing job. And it's so cool. He's like one of, he's tied into your community and everything.
Our community. Like that's so cool that it like comes full circle.
The other thing so here's my recommendation for him. And then probably for all your people too, is every year I message him because during wintertime, our lights always break and things happen. And I was calling like, hey man, can you come out and fix everything? And they do. But I was like, if he would have sold me something after the install or after the 3 or 4 times I keep messaging him, where it's just like, hey, for an extra, $2,500 a year, we'll come out twice a year, make sure the lights are working. Like I would pay for that in a heartbeat and never think twice. And so that's one of those, like, maybe that's something you teach people. If not, it's like, it's such a simple addition because the worst thing in the world is like, yeah, the lights aren't working. Or we had our lawnmower guy knocked one over and it was like shining in our neighbor's yard. And he was calling me, yelling at me because it was like blinding him. Like, I don't want to stress those kind of things because, a lot of times, especially with the high ticket, like, again, I don't remember what we spent for it, but it was really expensive. Having like a maintenance thing happening afterwards is like, changes, imagine you get, 100 people on a maintenance plan like that, it can change your metrics for your business really quick. So anyway.
Scott, you should be doing that. Shame on you, buddy.
Except for me, free for me now since I told you.
Yeah, it was Russell's idea, not mine. Well, the one framework that you always talk about, in fact, you've even said like people pay me $100,000 a day to come consult them. And it always comes down to like one thing. It's not like you're like I'm telling you what the problem is before you even come in. It's the hook, the story, the offer. Can you talk about that? Because that's a framework that I'm still perfecting, right? But anytime I try to make a piece of content or come up with an offer, whatever, I'm always trying to think of that. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's actually, I remember the day that like hit my head because I was writing, I can't remember, I think I was writing my second book, I believe. And I was trying to figure out, like, encapsulate like what I do when I'm trying to fix something or change, I'm like consulting somebody or and I was going through it and I realized that like in every campaign, so this is like the ad, the landing page, the upsell page, like in everything we're doing, there's always three commonalities, like you said. So the first one is the hook, right? So the hook is the thing that grabs someone's attention just long enough that you can then do number two, which is story. So telling them the story. Then the goal of the story is to increase the perceived value of the thing you're going to offer, which is step three. So hook, story, offer. And so you see this a billion times a day, right? So every single ad comes out there, and in every ad, there's those three elements are there, or the ad's not going to work. But first is the hook. So I always think about this with your phone. Like whenever I'm creating an ad, I think about someone on their phone, they're sitting on the toilet or the couch or something, and they're scrolling at like a million things. And the hook is the thing that gets them to stop and like, wait, what? Like that's the hook. It's just like grabs their attention just long enough, like, wait, what? And they're gonna click the button to like push play or hear your message, right? So and so the hook can be a lot of things. It can be a headline, it can be a background, it could be, I've done ads of me like burning my book, like my book's on fire, and that gets people to stop the scroll just long enough that I can then tell them something, right? So there's the hook, and then the story. Again, after you've grabbed that person's attention for a minute, then you have a chance to tell them a story. And the story, the goal of the story is to, like I said, to increase the perceived value of the thing that you're going to offer them next, right? So even on an ad, people are like, well, I'm not offering anything on the ad. I'm like, yeah, you are. You're asking them to click. Like that's an offer. Like you're saying, if you click down below, I will give you something cool on the next page. Like that's an offer. Even though like they're trading a click for something, like that offer's got to be good enough that they're actually going to click, right? And so there's a hook, story, offer, and an ad. Then they click on the thing, and then they come to the next page. Now it's your landing page, right? And that page, there's going to be a hook, which is probably your headline, right? And there's a story, which is like, what is this thing you're asking for in exchange? And the offer is like, if you give me your email address, I will then give you this thing, right? So there's always an offer there. Then the next page, maybe again, in the example we said earlier, maybe there's a video there. So what's the hook on the video? What's the story in the video? And then what are you trying to get them to do? Trying to get them to call you or to buy something or whatever it is. So then you have an offer. And so every single step has a hook, story, offer. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that, if you boil down the essence of everything we do, that's all it is. And so I started testing with our clients who would come in. They do these $100,000 consult days. They come in, and I was like, okay, I think this is true. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to test this a bunch of times, but without telling them the answer, so that I can make sure it's actually real. And so we sit down, we map out every step in the customer journey, right in the funnel. So here's the ad. Then they're going to go here, then here, then here, then here. And I look at the existing data they had. So they'd be like, okay, right now 20% of people are clicking on my ad, and 15% are giving me the email address. And so we look at the numbers on each step along the way. And then I look at, page the ads first. I'm like, okay, the ads are good. I think you could get higher. I think you can get higher click-through rate. Something's wrong though. And it's either going to be the hook, the story, or the offer. Which one do you think it is? And they look at it like, oh, well, the hook is really good. Like people stop. And the story, like they seem like they're engaged, but they're not clicking. I was like, okay, so it's probably the offer then. Right? Like, yeah, okay, let's make some more ads where we just change the, like, how can we make that offer better? And then they come up with a bunch of ideas for themselves. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, let's look at the next step in the page. The next page, you're asking for their email address. So, man, this looks really cool. Right now we're at 20%. I think we can get to like 45, 50% opt-in rate would be the goal. So something's not right. It's either the hook, the story. Which one do you think it is? And then they're like, and then they would tell me, and then I go, okay, and we do the next page, and we go through every single page. And sure enough, every person we took through that process, by looking at that, it was always one of those three things. And they could usually identify it when I just asked them the question to have them tell me it back. And so it became really cool just because like those are the core elements in every single step. And so when you realize that, it's just like, I just got to tweak those. And so the way that I do something, I'll build a funnel, we'll buy some ads, we drive traffic to it, and we let people kind of go through the funnel and we see the numbers, right? And we'll let it run for a week or so. And then we come back and we look at it and say, okay, based on this funnel, what was the numbers on the ad, opt-in page, sales page, whatever the things are. And then we kind of know like industry standards on what things should be on each step. And if like, hey, this is within good standards, cool, we're not going to touch that. But like, this one's low. Like it's only getting 12% opt-in rate. It should be about double that, So, okay, how do we fix that? But the sales page is doing great. So everyone gets there. It's great. But this piece missed, or the ad. And then we just tweak those things. And it's cool because a lot of times what will happen is we'll launch a funnel. And that first week we'll drive a bunch of traffic to it. And then the numbers don't shake out. We go back, make those tweaks. Then we test it again for next week. And next time we see what's working, what worked, didn't work. And then we'll come back, test again. And usually within 2 or 3 times of us doing that hook, story, offer process, then the funnel is just perfect and it works. And then it's like, okay, now we can start buying money and we spend more. And I know this is be different metrics for probably for your business, but in our world, it's like, if we can get a funnel where you put $1 in advertising in and you get $2 back out, that's always the goal, right? And as soon as we do, then we try to scale it. So like our goal every time we get a funnel done is how quick we can get to the spot we're spending $100,000 a day. Like because I'm going to spend $100,000 a day and I'm getting $2 back out. That's fantastic. And so that's like the metric we're always looking for. So we do these tests and tweaks. And as soon as we get a spot where we're putting $1 in ads, or $2 back out, then it's like put in as much money in ads as you possibly can. And so that's how you start scaling after you get all the pieces working together.
Very cool. No, I appreciate you breaking it down. I'm wondering if you see common trends, and I know you're not usually working with landscape lighting companies. We're trying to tailor the message a little bit, but is there a common trend where you're like, oh, like I see a lot of people making really cool videos, but like their hook is always weak. And I'm talking about myself. Like I can make a video that shows someone how to make an extra $100,000 and it gets like 200 views. And so I'm assuming if you were to look at it, you'd be like, which one do you think it is? Hook, story, or the offer? Like, the hook. Is it the hook? Is it usually the story? Is it the offer? Like where do people usually kind of fall off?
Yeah. I think the place that people miss, like the mistake people make most often is they're looking at a lot of other people's ads and they try to model them and they're forgetting about like their actual customer. This is like the biggest secret of marketing. Like the more you understand like your actual customers and their things, and you create the thing that speaks specifically to them, like that's the hardest thing. So it's not necessarily always the hook or the story. It's usually just like it's a message to market mismatch, right? Where it's like they're doing this thing over here, but the market, like for example, we have offers that are like, again, you've won one of them. We have a 2 Comma Club award, which means someone made $1 million in a funnel. So we have ads that go out that talk about, this result, $1 million. And it attracts a group of people for sure. But there's a bigger group who are like, that's not possible for me, or it's a scam, or I don't believe it, or what, you know what I mean? And so like for the masses of my audience, the messaging of 2 Comma Club is too big and they don't believe it. Even though like this should be, it's like, who doesn't want to make $1 million? It seems like it should get everybody, right? But the majority of people actually, if you look at, if you study NLP, it's really cool. It talks about directions of people moving. People make decisions based on either moving towards pleasure or away from pain, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, especially as us entrepreneurs traditionally make decisions to move towards pleasure. Like they want to make more money, get a bigger house, get a better car, more free time. Like that's what they're doing. But the masses of people, usually our customers, are trying to get out of pain, right? And so when you realize that, it's like making $1 million is aspirational, but they don't believe it. They just want to get out of pain. They hate their job. They hate their boss. They don't like their current situation. So for them, it's like, hey, how to make an extra $300 a month. For some people, like that's way sexier than this other thing, right? Or how to, and so it's like, it's understanding the customer in a really deep way where it's like, is my customer, are they aspirational, moving towards pleasure? Are they moving away from pain? Oh, they're more moving away from pain. Therefore, how do I speak to these guys differently? So like we have, this is coming soon. So we have this new award called the 1 Comma Club Award. So we're doing this in January. We're doing a launch called the 1 Comma Club Award, specifically because I think it'll attract 100 times more people into our world, like how to get your first $1,000 than, that like, so you can fire your boss, so you can take a vacation, so you can finally like get out of pain. You can pay off your student debt. You can get out of your credit card. Like that messaging is going to resonate way better than this aspirational thing for most people. You know what I mean? So that's usually the things, just like really understanding the market and who the person you're trying to get, and then crafting both the hook and the story and the offer really to speak to that person is where a lot of people make the mismatch,
Yeah, very cool. No, I appreciate you sharing that. And what's cool is you've already shared a couple examples because you have the perspective now of being like the master funnel builder, but also you're a homeowner, you're a client of landscape lighting. Like you understand a little bit about like how lighting makes you feel and what does it do for your family. And like when those lights are tipped over, when they're not, all of a sudden they don't come on one night, like life is a little bit different. Yeah. If you could kind of put yourself in that mindset a little bit, but then also like, okay, if you were to like help the struggling, landscape lighting business owner, what would your, like, I don't know, would you pick YouTube? Would you pick Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? What would you do to start marketing for your lighting business?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me ask one question first to understand. So most of your audience, how do they currently get their customers? Like, are they doing online stuff? Is it more offline? And then when someone's coming in, is the goal to get on a phone call for them to come to them, for them to go out to their house? What's the mechanism where they normally sell?
I would say this. So a lot of people they wear like the badge of honor, like, hey, we grow by word of mouth, which means we're awesome and we don't want to make more money. Right.
Which means we're praying a lot that somebody tells us about it.
So that's kind of their strategy. But then when they do get the courage to take a risk and like throw some money at Google or Facebook, it's a flawed strategy to start with because they don't have like the whole funnel. They don't have all the stuff, right? So they'll throw money at something, try it for a couple months, and they're like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like Google ads works. It just didn't work for you. Like that just means you did it wrong. Right. Yeah. And so that's the idea is always to like do an ad, whether it's direct mail or online or truck wrap, door hangers, whatever it is, and then get a phone call, pre-qualify on the phone, and then go out and do like an hour presentation, meet with the homeowners. And I teach them to like close the deal on the spot, give them a design, give them a price, and help them make the right choice right then.
Yeah. Very cool. So if it was me, what I would do is, and I'm assuming these guys already have at least a few customers happening. So this is not like if I was starting from scratch, but I've got a couple customers. I would go back to anyone because lighting, at least for me, is very experiential. Right? When I saw what it would look like, I was like, "Oh, that would be so crazy at night." People come to our house and they see so it was very experiential. So,
did he do a demo?
He didn't, but we just bought the house, and I remember there was a lighting system prior, but it didn't work at all. And so then I was like trying to figure out how to fix this. So I was Googling, I saw a bunch of pictures, and I saw these people's lights, and I was just like, oh. So I was visualizing what our house could look like if that was, you know what I mean? And then I must have Googled or something when I found him and had him come out. But because
now there's renderings, which people can do pretty quick on ChatGPT and AI and stuff. So that's what I'm telling people is like, it is experiential, like show them what's possible. They're not your like 1 comma customers that are running from fear. They want their place to remind them of the vacation they took. And like every night they come home, they're like, I can't believe I get to live here.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I would do is let's say Scott comes back to me and says, hey, Russell, your yard's amazing. We love it. Can we feature and showcase this to other people in the area? And I'd be like, sure, man, I don't care. So I have him come in at nighttime and like film the experiential of my home and outside and that kind of stuff. Right. And I make a video. And then what I would do is knowing that like, geographically, this is where my house is. And I would say, okay, what I want to do is I want to, like on YouTube on Google or Facebook, whatever, you can like pick an area to like blast and just have it covered. Right. And so I would have an ad that's just like, hey, do you want to see behind the scenes of one of the houses in your neighborhood, the lighting store job we did for them. Right. And show a couple clips, and like, click here to be able to see the before and the after of the thing. So you got the pictures, the ads, and again, it's targeting just a really small area, and so you can spend way more money. Like we do this a lot with dentists, where we have dentists who do like these Invisalign funnels, and then they go and they find the wealthy neighborhood closest to their practice, and then they just blanket that. So if you live in that area, you're seeing Invisalign things for them, and it's not very expensive because you're only targeting like a really small radius, and they're just blanketing that, right?
So I would go over and over.
Yeah. And it's just like, but it's like who's most likely to buy. It's not everyone in Boise, right? Yep. For Invisalign, it's like, it's more affluent neighborhoods like that. They're gonna have more money to buy Invisalign, right? For you guys, it's probably similar. Like, especially my neighborhood, like I have a whole street of huge houses and most of them have lighting. Like I would take that thing and I would blanket the area around me. And then I would go and I'd actually, if it was me, I'd be also doing offline. I'd go and like drop a flyer off every single person's house up and down the street. Like, hey, you want to see?
You would do offline? Russell Brunson?
100%, dude. I'm a hardcore offline guy.
This is I still send out
news. Yeah. I'm a Dan Kennedy student, man. He yells at me if I don't send physical stuff in the mail still.
I love it. I know. I'm like, she doesn't do this anymore, but she used to be like, well, what if lighting doesn't work? What if I'm like, dude, I'll go knock doors. Like, I'm not afraid of hard work.
Yeah. The thing because like my neighbors, like I would want to see if my neighbor like just got their lighting done in the front yard and backyard. Like voyeuristically, I'd want to see it. And they're like, hey, throw a thing out like, hey, Brunson's got a yard. Click here to check a video before and after. Like everyone on my street would watch it because they'd all want to know, and I want to know if it was my neighbor, right? Yeah. So you go back and you see it, and then it's like, oh, and then the lead magnet could be as simple as like, hey, if you want us to do now that you told you can do 3D renderings on ChatGPT or whatever, just be like, let us know if you're interested. We will pull from Google Maps and other places the pictures of your house, and they would send you a mock-up of what it's going to look like. And so someone opts in for that, then you go and you can grab the stuff, send them the picture, follow up the phone call, and then be like, hey, here's the thing. Can we come show it to you? And each house you do should turn into 3 or 4 more houses. You know what I mean? If you do it correctly. And then that's like word of mouth, but where you're stimulating the word of mouth by like showing it to all the neighbors. Because as much as like word of mouth works, someone might tell 1 or 2 of their neighbors versus you're blanketing everyone in their vicinity with the house, and they keep seeing it. And then people are going to drive by night and see it. And they're like, now it becomes this like spectacle where like they want to actually, participate. And so as far as like, where would I advertise? Facebook, I think is got the best buyers for this. Facebook's an older demographic. It's usually people who have more money and they're a little older. Instagram, the other ones are starting to trend more that way, but Facebook's where I would focus on. And then obviously I do local search as well, but I think Facebook ads and local search would be 2 that I would focus on myself.
All right. Very cool. I got one last question for you. It's around your Dream 100. Even before I learned about the Dream 100 from you. That was our strategy to grow our lighting business. I mean, we did over $1 million a year just from referral partners, and it was easy. It was like, well, yeah, these are all the high qualified people. Like if their home builder, their landscaper, their interior designer says use this lighting company, they're going to use them.
Yeah.
How can someone use funnels? Like, what would be the strategy there? Is there an outreach strategy? Is there a funnel? Like, how would you grow your Dream 100 list for a landscape lighting business?
Yeah. Great question. So I have a friend, he just showed me this like a month ago, and I was like, I can't believe I haven't been doing this the last 10 years of my life. But he has a funnel specifically to recruit partners to promote his products, right? And so it's very targeted, where it's just like, hey, we're looking for partners to da 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 da, and then he just buys ads specifically to very much to just like how to explain it, like not to the end customers. It's promoting it just to like the potential. It is a little different because he's able to target the whole country. With you guys, it'd be a little harder. But I mean, you could go and like do city of commerce. What's this thing called? The Chamber of Commerce. Just getting email addresses, because you can get email addresses of the people, the right businesses, of people who do referrals, right? You can take, I think you have to have at least 100 email addresses. You take those email addresses, you can upload them to Facebook and then make a custom audience. And you're like, just show this ad to those 100 people, and it'll just blanket those people, all the time. So you're just like, hey, I'm a local lighting guy here in Boise. I'm looking for partners who are landscapers. If this is one of you, message down below, and we're trying to find someone. And I would position it probably where like, we have tons of clients that are high end. They're looking for your services. Let us know so we know how we can connect you with them. Right. So it becomes a benefit. Yeah. It becomes a benefit for them. And then you can obviously then cross promo back and forth.
I love it. Dude, that's so simple and so awesome.
That's cool. The Dream 100 is the way you grew up, man, originally. That's so cool.
I mean, it didn't start that way. It started with knocking doors, and then I had enough money to actually invest in advertising. And then it was like, man, how do we get in front of these massive homes? Like, they don't respond to direct mail like someone else does, And it's like, oh, well, then all of a sudden we got a referral from a landscaper, and you're like, I wonder if other landscapers would refer us, or wonder if other. And once you find an interior designer, like
you're in.
They own the checkbook. Like, the homeowner doesn't even get to make choices at that point.
It almost makes you think about like, so not the same business, but I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and he was struggling selling chiropractic. And so then he hired a masseuse to work with him, because he's like, it's way easier to sell massages than chiropractic. And so they used the masseuse to get people in the door, and they can do other stuff. It's almost like partnering or hiring an interior designer just to be the person out there doing interior design work to bring the clients back to you isn't actually a bad strategy. So not that you want to build a whole side business, but the right person could be a great, person bringing leads in.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Well, man, I just want to thank you for coming on. You've had an amazing ride so far. You've got New York Times bestseller. If you guys, check out .com Secrets. You've been partners with Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, many others. What are you most proud of at this point?
Oh, man. I think for me, it's like when I got started in business, I wanted to figure out how to make money. And then I started making money, and it was really weird because it was surprisingly unfulfilling. And I was like, that thing where I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, my whole life, this is what I wanted, and I got it, and it's not what I wanted. And then somewhere along the line, some of our students started having success. And it was this really cool thing where I would look back at like what they were doing and the success they were having. And that's what gave me fulfillment. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing. Like seeing their results felt way better. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story because this is my favorite story. Like, growing up, I was a wrestler, like state champion, took second place in the nation, wrestled in college. Like the greatest feeling I ever had in my entire life was like I'd win a match and I get my hand raised. Like that feeling, there's no high it ever had prior or since then that was better, right? And I remember getting into business, like trying to get that high again. It was never felt as good to get my hand raised, but it was good, right? And then I remember I have twin boys, and so my twin boys, when they got into 8th grade, they started wrestling. And the first of the season they started wrestling, they hated it. So I was like, after day one, they wanted to quit. And I'm like, oh, so I called the coach. Can I help coach? So the next time I'm there in the wrestling room, try to help them to do it. And one of the twins kind of picked it up, and he's able to do well, and he was winning most of his matches and stuff. My other son, his name's Bo, and he wasn't as athletic. He was smaller and just couldn't quite figure it out. And he would go every day. We'd go to practice, and we'd have the matches, and he lost every match. He'd get pinned, he'd get thrown to his back, and and so afterwards we'd work after the practices, and then at our house we would practice, and we'd go back and forth, and we kept doing this, and week after week, he would practice so hard that he would lose, and just the whole season he lost every single match, and I was just devastated because like I wanted him to do it, he wanted to do it, he could not beat anybody. And then I remember it was the last dual meet of the entire year. I think we had 2 schools we were wrestling. And we went out there, and I was just praying, like, man, please let him win one. Like, he's been trying so hard. And he goes out there and he's wrestling this kid, and the match is happening. And when it all ends and the ref blows the whistle, he stands up and he won. And this look on his face, he jumped up and he ran over, and the ref raised his hand, and then he did this like weird little jump, and he ran and gave me a hug. And I remember just like breaking down crying. I was like, whoa, like that felt so much better seeing his hand get raised than mine ever did. And that's what I feel like for me, like, that's what I'm most proud of. Like, I always thought it was gonna be like, oh, we built a business that did $1 billion in sales, partnered with Tony Robbins. Like this month I was on Success Mag, the cover of Success Mag. Like, that's so cool. Like, but like the only thing that was like actually like the best feeling is like the people you coach and you see them do it. You see them change their students. Like that became like the obsession and the drug for me. It's just like, man, I love seeing other people get the success. And it feels so much better than your own. So yeah, I think the legacy is the community we built, the people, the results, like that's what keeps me going and why it's so much fun. So
thanks for sharing. And thanks for paving the way. I mean, I can't believe what I'd get to do with my life now, all because I came to one of your events. I watched the show, The Profit. We got the podcast, we do our own events now. We've got our own coaching business, Landscape Lighting Secrets. And we have our own awards program now. I mean, I'm basically just like, okay, what's Russell doing over here? Okay, we'll do that over here. And it's amazing. We track this stuff now. And to date, we've helped our clients generate an additional $56 million in their business. Like,
so cool.
That's insane. It doesn't even make sense. And there's the ripple effect of what you're doing is just awesome, man. So I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. I don't know how you keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, surely he's going to get tired and go to sleep one day, but like, it's epic. You're an inspiration to all. And I really appreciate you. And thanks for coming on the show too.
Yeah, man. It's great to reconnect. And yeah, like when you messaged me somewhere along the line the first time in Messenger, and I saw, and I'm always like kind of nervous, like, oh no, like I don't want to ruin his life. He comes in here, doesn't work for him, whatever. And then like to see what you've built afterwards is just really inspiring. And yeah, it makes me happy. So I'm glad that we have a chance to do this. And next time in Utah, I have to go hang out and go to Belgian Waffle or something. It'd be fun.
I know. Is it still there? I think it is.
Oh, it's definitely still there. I love Belgian Waffle.
Cool. Well, guys, I actually forgot to say, you've got an event coming up here in a couple of weeks. It's a virtual event, selling online. I attended this thing, and we have a link. We'll put it in the show notes. It's sellingonline.com/Ryan. And it's like $100.
Yeah, it's $100. It's a 3-day event. And what we teach is what's called one-to-many selling, which is cool because a lot of you guys are probably doing one-on-one sales right now. Imagine if you shifted the frame and the funnel in your head a little bit, right? Instead of like doing one-on-one sales, what if you created some kind of event or something? You brought 10 people or 20 people or 30 people in at once, and you made a presentation and you closed half of them. Like that's what one-to-many selling is. And in the coaching business, people are more aware of it, but we're seeing it happening now. I have a friend who's a financial planner. They were going door to door doing kitchen meetings, and they learned this process. And a little while ago, they did a webinar. They had over 1,000 people on the webinar, and they did the same kitchen table pitch, but they used my structure and stuff. And they signed up like I don't know, 150 clients in a day. And it was just like that would have taken us 10 years knocking doors to be able to do that. We did it in a day. Like, it's just shifting the way you think about putting together groups and doing one sales presentation to a lot of people. And I haven't seen anyone do it in the lighting industry yet, but I think that you guys could. And so anyway, if you want to come, it's $100 and it'll be, you'll learn the skill set and how it all works. So it's pretty fun.
Guys, go do it. I'm determined to make it work for the lighting industry. I'm thinking of like Dream 100 referral partners. We could be doing these one-to-many sales presentations. Guys, I'm telling you, I used to not think this stuff was possible. And now here I'm doing it. I'm making offers from stages like Russell, doing one-to-many, all these things. So go check it out, sellingonline.com/Ryan, and get your ticket. Thanks again, Russell. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Great seeing you too.
All right, guys. Now the hard part, just go implement everything he said. That was awesome, though. Guys, go do it. Get started. We'll see you on the next episode.